Your depression is not your failure. Yeah, I've just said it. Lots of people have depression, anxiety problems, personal issues, psychological issues based on trauma, past beliefs, past systems, parents, or whatever happened in your life that might have caused you to have some disrupt. Be okay with it. It's not going to be your failure. Actually, you might want to look at it as something that is going to help you overcome and win from many other people around you. Because lots of people don't want to face their fears, and lots of people don't want to face change until it's too late. And that's one of the things that we have to get used to as humans. Either we do one of two things: we wait for one thing to happen and the pain to be great enough to actually go into change, or we look ahead and see what happened and make sure that we make changes so we don't see something happen again. It's not an easy subject to talk about, and I'm not even actually sure if I'm going to make sense of what it is, but this is what my story was and how I overcome it, and how you should, accept the fact that your depression is not your failure. The depression is basically a sign of your body saying something is out of order. That could be sleep, could be nutrition, could be the way you hold your mind, could be your breathing, could be all kinds of things. Could be past lives, past traumas, and all kinds of things that have occurred to you, because your body and your brain is a magnificent machine that stores almost everything. And as it stores everything, it also stores the bad things. And the problem actually we face today is that we have a sort of instant gratification, which is, this thing that you're now looking at, and probably cell phone or a computer screen or whatever, but a thing that is continually giving you entertainment, notifications, all kinds of things going on. But basically what it does, it gives you dopamine. It gives you happy feelings. And you're not so used to cultivating other happy feelings anymore, which is what we should be doing, but also what we should be standing for. Like, stress in our body manifests under the hormone of serotonin. Did I say it? No, cortisol. Sorry, take serotonin out. Cortisol. Cortisol's half-life, so the time how long it's going to stay in your body, is twice the amount of the happy hormone, oxytocin. You can find oxytocin if you hug somebody for more than 20 seconds, have a full belly, good nest, and all kinds of ways, let's say orgasms, all kinds of ways that oxytocin comes in. If you have a happy day, you're probably loaded with oxytocin. And oxytocin is infectious, so if you have oxytocin, you're also going to spread it to other people. They've actually shown this in rats, that the more happy rats are, and even if they put depressed rats in between the happy rats, the happy rats spread with a sort of percentage of 25%, spread that happy feeling to others, because it's a hormone that we spread and you can smell. So if that's the case, if all your friends are depressed and bored and bad, you might want to find some different friends. I'm not going to say, hey, you need to show and stop hanging out with them, but you might want to look at people who have a little bit more uplifting in your life, because that's step one of what you need to do. If you want to overcome your depression, and if you want to make your depression the story of your path to mastery and your path to true self-enlightenment, is you're gonna have to find people around you that can help you, that can help you grow, that can help you process pain, can help you process emotions, can help you process all kinds of things that's going on. So that could be a group of peers, that could be a group of people that you work with, it could be a group of people that you don't know, let's say an AA or whatever, people that help you out with emotional issues that you might want to discuss with other people. I would definitely advise to go to a therapist if you can afford it, or if you live in a country where it's paid for you. I'm fortunate enough to live in a country where it's part of my health insurance, and if that's the case, don't fucking wait any longer. Let's repeat that. If your health insurance is paying for your mental health, you have no excuse except your own fear. And believe me, that fear is going to go away, because it's easily the best thing I've ever done in my life to be able to go there. So I think my parents understood at a very young age already that I had some depressive tendencies. So the first time I went to see a therapist was at 10 years old. I had no clue what I was doing with this dude, no clue what he was. I knew he was a doctor, or had an office and asked me questions, and I couldn't really give them. And I don't know if it improved my personality, but let's say it did help some. My friend who passed away at the age of 16, well, suicidal at the age of 15, 16, went to the same dude. So let's say maybe it worked, maybe it didn't. Maybe it has influence on every single other person. But that's a whole different story I'm going to tell you at another time. At 18, I was so depressed that I had to go again. And lots of people didn't know it. I wasn't really sharing it except with, let's say, my girlfriend and my mom. But now that I know what has done for me, I would advise you to every single person, just do it. Just please find somebody. And if it's not a therapist, if that's a little bit too much for you, find a group that you can talk to and that you can open up with, because that's the first path to heal. Next thing, and that's something that I wish that they would spend a little bit more time on in terms of depression and care, is make sure you work on your sleep. A lot of depressive people have, maybe tendencies to drink or smoke weed or do drugs or all kinds of things that pretty much fucks up your sleep, which is never going to help you if you want to heal. So watch your sleep. Wake up at the same time every day. Try to go to bed at the same time every day. Minimize light before you go to bed. Minimize too much sugar and all kinds of processed food before you go to bed. And minimize your phone use before you go to bed. These are quite simple things to do. They take quite some habitual habit, but yeah, it is what it is. Like, let's say after I had kids, I wasn't able to wake up at a later time, let's say 8 a.m., which is now sleeping out. But just turn your alarm clock at 7 or 6 or whatever time you wish to wake up. Or even 5 if you're wishing to Robin Sharma and his 5 a.m. club, which I'm still hesitant to be starting with. But make sure that you wake and sleep at the same time and maximize your actual sleep. So I have this little thing, the Oura, which tells me a little bit more about, let's see if you can see that. It's like a tracker which tracks your sleep mostly, which tells me a little bit about my quality of sleep and how good it was and how nice I actually slept. And maybe if I need to watch out, like some days I might have a bad sleep and I have to do a little bit different things and not do some strenuous workout. And as you can see, I work out so much. Not really. Just a skinny bastard. But that's the step, the second step. The third step I would be, and it's one of the biggest things, is focus on your nutrition. Again, is hardly used or hardly discussed during therapy, and there are people working with therapists who are a little bit more holistic who take this into an aspect as well. But if you're eating shit, obviously your body is going to complain, and that's where, for me, if I look at my body as a whole, if I get depressed or if I have depressive tendency, I feel or I think that is just your body telling you you're out of balance. Same as if you would be sick, your body is going to let you know that you're sick. Is going to tell you, hey, you're sick, maybe you need to do something, take a rest, and slow down because we need to heal. If you have a natural imbalance, so you might be depressed, yeah, that could be the case, that your body is just giving you signals, like the check engine light on your car, and you're not listening to it. So make sure you find out what is nutrition that will work for you, your body type, your blood type, and your, cash, because I wish everybody would be very much focusing on regenerative organic produce. That for me includes meat, but that's not always in everybody's budget. So check what works for you, but make sure that you start figuring out what that does to you and how that nutrition improves how you feel. So what have we, just to recap, focus on people that can help you, focus on sleep and nutrition, and then last but not least, exercise. As you can see, this little river named something in French. It's icy cold, and I just took a couple of ice baths in there just to give my body a little bit of a shimmer. But at the same time, work out, walk, do exercise, take cardio, do things that match for you, and make sure that it's fun. I mean, if you just go to the gym just to buff up and do things, or if you go to the gym or go to a sport activity that you actually enjoy, you get the free oxytocin, which is the stuff that you actually want to have. Then last but not least, talking about oxytocin, we have cortisol and oxytocin. Cortisol is the bad one, the stress one. Sometimes helpful because it also can get you out of a situation that you need to have the cortisol. That's why our body makes it. That's why our body's half-life is there, because if you want to see a tiger, you want to run away from the fucking tiger and make sure you're in safety. And then if you're in safety, your cortisol level slowly drops, but it stays a certain height because it wants to make sure that you still have the energy and the extra blood flowing through your body to actually run away if the tiger might jump out again. So that being said, if we know that cortisol is not going to stay that long in your body, or longer in your body than happiness, then focus through gratitude and focus intently on good moments in your life. Have that oxytocin stay longer in your body because you're actually thanking for being and bringing it in and focusing on the good things, because it's so much easier to hardwire your brain on focusing on the bad things. Now that I'm talking about hardwiring my brain, I remember that I was so depressed, I was so fucked up, and I didn't want to, live anymore at some point in my life. Thank God it has changed, but I remember, and I could, show it actually, or not really show it. I had ideas that I would sit down at the edge of the cliff, and at the edge of the cliff, I put up my lawn chair, and I sat there watching the depth of the pain and suffering that I had. And I would just tell myself, not today. Tomorrow will be better. And then the next day came and it was still shit. My brain was still mush and I was still in, let's say, hardcore, not happy mode. I just say, not today. Tomorrow will be better. And I said to myself for a very, very long period of time before it actually became better, because I focused on these things that I just told you earlier. But I also focused on my brain, making sure that I understood how my brain worked and how my wiring of my brain needed to be adjusted. Because again, your depression could also be that you have hardwired your mind to focus on one thing. Let's take the river, and then I'm going to quit this video because otherwise I'm just going to blabber on and you're not even going to learn anything. So we see this river, and if you could see the rest of it, you see beautiful cliffs, and this river has carved its way through. And we went to the actual source this morning where we saw the source of this water coming out, and there's a cliff being slowly churned out. And let's say water always finds the shortest path, and if it can't find a path, it will create a path. Our brain works on electrical currents, and electrical currents work similarly to water. Let's say I would put a 220 volts in this water, it will shoot its way through it. If you have sometimes been playing with electricity or other stuff, and you would have touched something and the water or the electricity shot through, that was the electricity finding its way to ground through you because it found the fastest way it could be. Same goes for your thoughts. That electrical wiring in your thoughts find the way. And if we focus, and then your phone starts overheating. Okay, recouping. So we have our electrical current in our brain, and if we have our electrical current in our brain, if you create a pathway that the brain can continuously go on, and that makes it become the easiest pathway to go through, then you're creating chaos for yourself. Because then if the depressive thought comes in, or if any thought comes in, or any space to go freely roam, your brain is instantaneously going to go through. Just like this water right here is going to find the easiest pathway. So if you cultivate or only stay hanging into those shitty, depressive, painful moments, then you're only going to create easier, bigger electrical current highways directly to the painful moment, where you want to cultivate thoughts that go to the proper things. So you can utilize your painful moments to learn something from, but you also need to make sure that you utilize other moments in your life to actually create super highways towards those things, and coping mechanisms to create super highways to help you overcome certain situations. Because you're not going to be free from shitty thoughts. I still have moments in time where I don't like myself, or I don't have things, or I have bad days, less and less, but it's not completely gone. So learn to live with that, and learn to live with it. Your depressive mind is never going to go away, but you can learn to cope with it, and you can learn to work with it, and you can actually utilize it. Because as I said in the beginning, it's not your failure. Look at the society we live in. It's something that happened to so many people based on so many factors that influences as a human being. But you can take an active step to make a change and make that happen, that you don't have to have that problem anymore, because it is not the natural state of human being. There's a disbalance. Create the balance, create a harmony, and you'll start feeling better and better. And then it's just a daily fight and a daily joyous path towards being a happier, more fulfilled person. And sometimes you might need to take some big steps, but take them. Believe me. And as I said in the beginning, please, if you can afford it, or if your healthcare pays for it, go see a therapist. It helps. And if they have mushrooms, that's even better.